Have you recently noticed that being online doesn't feel fun anymore? Like you log on to look for some comfort, maybe a laugh, and somehow you end up in a heated debate over oat milk, some new micro trends, or something wildly political in a comment section that you didn't even mean to scroll into? You feel more drained than relaxed. Somehow chaos became the default, and no one really stopped to ask, hang on a minute, is this how it's supposed to be? This video isn't about quitting social media or telling you to have a digital detox. It's about making sense of why the internet feels so weird lately, and maybe remembering what we liked about it in the first place. Believe it or not, but the internet wasn't always this loud. There was a time when it felt more like a patchwork of curated spaces, forums, fan sites, niche blogs, and early YouTube communities where people gathered around shared interests and not just trending topics. You would go online not to argue with strangers, but to talk about things that you love. Anime, booktube, indie game dev blogs, or makeup subreddits before every video was brand sponsored. Every space had its vibe, its own set of norms, and most importantly, a sense of belonging. Back then, people didn't expect to go viral. They expected to connect, to geek out with people who understood their obsession. It wasn't perfect, but it was less chaos and more intentionality. More conversations that left you fulfilled instead of fired up. Nowadays, you open a comment section and it's full-on battlefield. The chaos isn't an accident, it's an engineered feature. When billions of people with completely different worldviews are crammed into one platform, it's inevitable that friction happens. Add provocative thumbnails, clickbaity titles, and content that is designed to trigger a reaction, and suddenly you're knee-deep in arguments about strangers' lives that you never asked to care about. Why is it like this? Because conflict sells. Rage is addictive. And algorithms feed us what we are most likely to respond to, not what is good for us. So creators start optimizing for that. Titles designed to provoke, takes designed to polarize, and content designed to turn followers into customers. Even sincerity can feel staged now, packaged for relatability. It's like everyone is selling something, even if it's just a version of themselves. There's a strange irony in the fact that most people go online to unwind, but end up overstimulated, emotionally hijacked, or quietly comparing themselves to someone else's cinematic reel. Somewhere along the way, content stopped being about comfort and connection and started to be about performance. Your opinions need to be marketable, your hobbies need to be productive, and your personality, hopefully, brand safe. The platforms are thriving, but the users are quietly burning out. That's why people are starting to long for something different, something slower, more quiet, more real. If there is one place that still carries a bit of that old internet soul, it might be YouTube. There is something more intentional about long-form content. When a creator sits down and talks to the camera, not to sell you something or to go viral, but just to share a thought, it's starting to feel more personal again, like you're part of a conversation rather than an audience. People are craving that sense of calm, cozy community, and that's what a lot of content used to be like. The internet may feel fake right now, but it doesn't have to stay that way. We could start by being more mindful about what we share, what we consume, and who we support. Maybe it's as simple as finding creators who still feel human again. Because behind all that noise, there are still real people out there trying to create, connect, and just be. And maybe that's enough to rebuild something honest in a world that has learned to fake everything. I want to end this video with a quote that I think can be applied to this topic. It goes, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And that's from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. That means when the internet feels chaotic and draining, it's often because we let the noise control our minds. But we can choose to focus on more meaningful, intentional connections instead, just like the old communities used to be like. Quality over quantity matters, online as well as offline. Thank you for listening.